Hello and welcome to another edition of the Lynn Lowdown. And today we have two special guests from the Lynn Public Library, Mr. Lindsey Robert and Theresa Hurley. How are you two doing today?
Doing good.
Great. Got to hear it. It's a little cold outside today, but we'll get through this interview. But first, let's just talk about the Lynn Public Library and the year that it had last year. Can you just talk a little about some of the impact that the pandemic had on the library's operations in 2020?
It completely upended our operations as we knew it. When we had to close last March for the pandemic, we kind of all got together and tried to provide as much service as we could electronically, digitally. Keep in contact with our patrons, able to sign up for library cards online. And we really increased our electronic services, our ebooks, our audiobooks, so that people can still enjoy what they love to do, read, without having to, come and check out a book because that was not an available option at the time.
And were there a good amount of individuals still using the library through the online services? Did you guys feel like there was a good amount of people that were still using the library, I should say?
Yeah, absolutely. We had hundreds of new patrons sign up for temporary cards while we were not able to be here in the building. And we're signing them up remotely as staff was trying to work from home, but hundreds, well over 400 patrons got temporary cards so that they could have immediate access to the online resources and get ebooks and things like that. So it was a pretty good turnout, even when we weren't able to be here in person.
Why is that so important?
I have some statistics I could get to you of.
Oh yeah, please share. Hey, share those statistics for us.
It's going to take me a minute to grab them.
Oh, okay. Well, while you do that, Lindsey, why was that so important that so many people signed up during the pandemic? Because the library is such an essential part of life for everybody, because as they say, reading is fundamental. Well, why was that so important that people were still able to make use of the public library?
I think because people were stuck at home and they needed, you can only watch so much television. You can only do, so much of the same things. You can only over and over again. So to be able to get a library card, to be able to access those ebooks right away or e-audio or other online resources, gave people another opportunity to do something different. You had to keep yourself occupied. You had to keep things moving. People were looking for recipes. There's cookbooks available, all that kind of stuff. So the fact that we were able to offer another type of avenue still kept people entertained and informed when they couldn't come here to get those items physically.
And as a head of adult circulation, what little obstacles did that give for your job last year, for your position? Was there any obstacles or any challenges that you faced in your position last year?
Oh, definitely. Just trying to keep staff fresh. You come into work every day and you have a routine, you're used to doing the same things. And then when that's completely taken away, you want to keep staff members engaged, trying to keep patrons engaged, trying to keep patrons connected, even, when we can't be connected anymore. So we did a lot of social media, and that kept people interacting with us even when we couldn't interact with them in person. And then even doing the things like registering patrons for temporary cards still helped the staff kind of stay into a routine and, be able to keep their mind fresh on what we do here at the library. And so it wasn't so much of just a long break. We were still trying to do some type of activity that would, keep us going. So it was just trying to switch gears. I wouldn't call it a challenge. It was just having to change what we are used to doing.
Gotcha. And as you guys started to get back into the library, get back into the flow of things, get back to regular operations, what was the plan like when you guys first got in? Okay, this is what we're gonna do, to get things quite not back to normal, but to be on the path to normalcy. And how did you plan out the next several months of operations when you guys did return to the library?
Right. We totally had to figure out how can we provide, physical services now, but in a safe way. And where we weren't allowed to, let patrons into the building right away, we jumped right on the opportunity to provide curbside services. So as soon as we came back in, we started accepting items that had been checked out for months now, and tried to get those processed and back off of patrons' accounts and out to new patrons who wanted those items, as well as starting to order items for patrons, and scheduling time for them to stop by and pick them up. So our curbside service took off right away. And we actually have a solid base of regular patrons who take advantage of the curbside service even now as we're opening up by appointment.
So, and for this year, there's a lot. Oh, are you back, Theresa, with the statistics?
Yes.
Okay, please share us those stats.
So our stats from March 2020 through February 2021, we registered 555 new patrons. We circulated 19,214 items, hard copy, books, magazines, movies. We circulated 24,615 ebooks, e-audiobooks, and e-magazines. We fulfilled 4,427 holds. We served 2,953 curbside patrons. We conducted 2,445 curbside transactions, and we replied to 316 genealogy research requests.
Wow. That's a lot.
So we still worked.
Yeah, you guys.
It's a different kind of work.
Yes, it was. That's a lot of work and a lot of numbers. What are some of the things that are planned for this year? For the summer and into the fall. What are some of the stuff that we should all be looking out for from the Lynn Public Library?
So we're open by appointment now. Patrons can call and make an appointment and come in and browse our adult, our young adult, and our children's collections. They can also make an appointment to use the computers or search through the microfilm if they like. We, in the very near future, we'll be opening more up to walk-ins, and you won't have to make an appointment per se. You'll be able to just come to the library. We hope to do that very soon. So we'd say stay tuned for that. We're going to continue our curbside service because, as I mentioned, there is a base of patrons who really appreciate the curbside service, and it kind of cuts down on how many people are in the building at one time to keep things keep them safe as we go through this. So we will continue that. We continue to help patrons with their account. Sometimes you have account questions or need to renew your account and things like that. We try to do that over the phone or by email. And we're continuing to register temporary cards, which allow patrons to access our online resources right away. So there's a good benefit to that, but you can always transition that temporary card into a permanent physical card, which you could come and pick up at the library. We are doing take and make crafts. We do one for the adult and young adult department about once a month. We're doing one right now, which is like an herb starter kit this week, but then we'll have a new one next month. We're also renewing our museum pass program. So our discount passes for museums, we're in the process of following up with the museums and renewing that whole program. So we'll have museum passes available very soon as well. And as the weather is much nicer, we plan on trying to do pop-up libraries outside where we'll have materials available outside for people who might not be comfortable coming inside just yet, which is totally understandable, but might be able to meet patrons out on the sidewalk.
There's a lot happening. Theresa, I wanted to get your thoughts on this because I remember I read a story or article some years back that libraries were in danger of getting funded. Public libraries throughout the nations were not being funded, or they were dangers of not properly funding libraries, which causing some in certain places to close down. Can you just talk about why it's so important to keep a public library, especially in a community like Lynn? We have so many people, there's so much history in Lynn. Can you just talk about the importance of having a public library?
Sure. Public libraries historically have been the place for people to come to get answers, whether if they're doing research, or even if it's just a place to sit and relax, to read. All of our resources are free. We're here to help. We're open. Well, we will be open quite, when we were open quite a few hours a week so that it was accessible. We were open 64 hours a week, 6 days a week. And we hope to get to that soon. There are so many things that we do that, it's not just books. And right before COVID, we had started a library of things. And we started with cake pans, like novelty cake pans if you want to borrow for your kid's 5th birthday. We have the number 5 and a bunch of different ones. So we want to start something like that and have different items, and not necessarily books or movies or anything like that, that people can take out and borrow. Ukulele is a popular item that people want to learn how to play. Maybe some tools, some gardening tools. We really want to know what the community wants. And it would be something that, most people would use one time. And why would you want to buy it when you can borrow it from the library?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a great place. I know when I was in middle school and high school, I definitely used the library for a lot of my research projects. And it was and as you said, it was a good place to just come out and relax sometimes. When you just need some peace and quiet, it's a great place. We only have a couple minutes left. So can you please let the public know if they want any information or if they want to contact the two of you, please let them know how they can do that.
Sure. So our website has so much information. It has everything from signing up for a temporary card, which will get you started if you've never had a library card, or maybe you need a new card number, things like that. And then it has all of our up-to-date. We do our best to stay up to date with making sure that all of our current services, our hours, when things are available for patrons are listed on the website. It is the best resource. From there, you can call us. Anyone here at the library is happy to help answer questions over the phone. The phone number is 781-595-0567. You can even call directly to the children's department, directly to the adult department, or to reference. But anyone here is happy to help and steer you in the right direction and help you find out what you're looking for. And then follow us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And we make sure that's even more up to date than the website, I think sometimes, is we're always getting new information out that way. So definitely find us on any of those social media platforms, and that's the best way to get information about the library.
All right, awesome. Thank you two once again for coming on to talking to us. We really appreciate it on having you two ladies on. And when we are fully open back to the public, we hope to have you all come to the studio for a show. So we really appreciate this.
Thank you for having us on.
Thank you very much for helping us spread the word.
No problem. You guys have been watching the Lynn Lowdown. I'm your host, Mukala Kabongo. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen.